Hi, my name is Noor Ibrahim, and today I'd like to present a research study to investigate whether a researcher's race impacts the results of their study, especially when it comes to studies on racial discrimination. Racial discrimination, especially when experienced over a long period of time, can have very negative effects on minority groups' health outcomes, especially mental health outcomes related to depression, anxiety, and PTSD. Not much is known about what causes these issues to be so prevalent in minority groups, which makes this a very interesting and crucial area of study. Based on the scoping review my group did, we observed that racial discrimination seems to disrupt the body's natural stress response. But unfortunately, the results across the studies we looked at were very complex and inconsistent and unclear. One study we looked at suggested that the race of the interviewer may be playing a role in this inconsistency, which is why we'd like to investigate whether the stress levels in participants are being affected by whether they're being interviewed by a white or African American person, and discussing sensitive topics such as racism. A difference in the stress response with either a white or African American researcher would indicate that this factor needs to be controlled for in future studies in this field. We are proposing a study where approximately 70 African American subjects complete the perceived discrimination scale and then are randomly selected to complete an interview with either a white or African American researcher. These participants would then come back in a few days and complete the same test and interview with the other interviewer of the other race. And we would collect saliva samples before the interview, during the interview, and after the interview. And this would allow us to measure cortisol levels in their saliva, which are good indicators of the body's stress response. We would then compare each participant's results between the two interview conditions and observe whether the cortisol levels are differing in these individuals. This information would clarify whether the race of the interviewer has an impact on the subject's cortisol levels and therefore their stress response. And it would help better guide the design of these experiments and improve the methodology in the field. We are kindly asking for $25,000 to fund research participants' compensation for their time and potential travel, as well as cortisol test costs. And that is all. Thank you for listening.